Hey everybody, John Woolworth here. I'm out here on the beach in South Carolina on a swelteringly hot day. If any of you have ever been to South Carolina in the summertime, you know that hot is a noun here and not an adjective. The heat index is 110 degrees, I believe it is today. Fortunately, there's a little bit of a breeze off the water, so I'm not dying too bad. But for those of you who don't know, about a year ago, we bought this rig right here. It's a 2002 ambulance, and we turned it into a camper. And the reason I bring up the heat is because one of the things you absolutely have to have when you live in South Carolina, if you've got an RV, is an air conditioner. And since we wanted to be completely off-grid, we went with a 12-volt air conditioner from OutequipPro. Now, a lot of you have probably never heard of a 12-volt air conditioner for an RV, and there's probably a good reason for that, in that until just a few years ago, they really didn't even exist. You had to have a regular 110-volt air conditioner that you ran off of an inverter, and they were really quite power hungry and inefficient. So when these came out, I mean, it seemed like really the perfect solution. Since we are trying to do an off-grid rig, we're trying to do everything on solar or off of engine power as we're driving. So after doing some research and checking out different units, we decided on a 10,000 BTU air conditioner from OutequipPro. It's 12-volt air conditioner, and we installed that, and it's been working great so far. It's currently running in there right now. It's about 74 degrees inside the camper, even though it's 110 out here. So it's doing fantastic as far as that goes. It's not even using as much electricity as our solar is bringing in, which is fantastic. So even though we are running an air conditioner, we are still charging our batteries now that we're out in full sun right now. So now that we've had it for about a year, you might be wondering, how is it working? And do I have any tips for somebody who might want to put something like this on their vehicle and to make it work better? And so the answers are, it's working great, and yes, I do have some tips. So before I go into those specifics, it might be really good to just go over the specifics of what systems do I have in place right now to keep this air conditioning running. What is my solar setup? What are my battery setups? And so let's just go over that right now. So the short answer is, first of all, we've got 780 watts of solar on the roof. I have 314 amp hours of 12-volt lithium batteries inside a box inside. The space that I'm cooling inside is roughly a 14 by 7 foot space inside the ambulance here in the back box. The ceiling and the walls are both insulated with a couple of inches of insulation. The floor, however, is basically a piece of aluminum that has very, very little insulation on there. I did put a little bit of sound deadening insulation in there, just a couple millimeters of foam, and it helps a little bit, but it really is not very much. So if you're planning on having like a schoolie or something like that, you're going to have a lot less insulation that you're dealing with. You've got a lot of windows. So this is a little bit better situation than with that, but it's worked well for me. When we built this out, we did not want to use propane. I did not want to have to get another source of fuel. Right now, everything runs off of either electricity or off of diesel. So our heating runs off of diesel. We have a diesel heater in here. And then everything else, from our cooking, our air conditioning, the lights, obviously, our water heater, everything else is electric, and everything is off-grid. It all runs off of the batteries. As I said, I'm in South Carolina here, and if you've ever been to South Carolina in the summertime, you know that it gets exceptionally hot here and very, very humid. Having said that, I can be driving down the road and it will keep at a comfortable 75 degrees. In fact, just a couple weeks ago, I went driving about 6 hours across the state and had the air conditioning running in the back. It was 95 degrees outside, and it kept it about 76 degrees inside while I was driving on just a medium setting. I was bringing in enough solar and energy off of the engine as I was driving that it was actually charging the battery as I was running the air conditioner. So fantastic, it was really efficient that way. One of the tips that I would give is that rather than waiting until the middle of the day when it's absolutely the hottest, it's best if you turn it on earlier when it's just a little bit cooler, so it's not fighting against both the heat that's coming in outside, but also the heat that rests within all of that mass of the vehicle. So it's better to maintain the temperature rather than have to fight against the heat once it's already hot inside. All right, so enough standing out here in the 100-degree heat in the sun in South Carolina here. Let's go ahead and go inside and see what kind of a draw we get on the various settings, and I'm going to test the temperature and I'm going to test the sound levels as well inside our rig. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, going inside. And of course, we want to know how effective it is. We want to know how cold is the air coming out of this thing. So I do have this infrared thermometer here, and let's go ahead and just hit the cold air coming out and see what it's doing. The air coming out is So the air coming out is 46.5 degrees, 47, and that is a huge temperature drop from what we started with. I've had the air running for a little while here, and you can see it is waffling between 73 and 74 degrees inside the vehicle here, even though it is 110 outside. All right, so let's go ahead and get a baseline here. As you can see from my app, I've got here, I have everything on my iPad, which is really convenient. I have my solar and my battery on Bluetooth, and as you can see, we are currently running 0 watts. There's no solar coming in right now, so I've shut that off. We're going to start with the turbo setting, as they put it, because that is going to be the absolute most draw that you get. So let's go ahead and turn that on, and we'll show you what happens with our wattage draw. Okay, I've just turned it on. It's starting to ramp up. The compressor will start spooling here in just a minute. And the turbo setting is the highest fan, highest compressor, and this is the absolute most you are going to be drawing from it at any given time. So this is really the torture test. 695, 715 watts, 729, and it has topped out at about 760 watts. So it's topped out at 760 watts, and then it's actually dropping just a little bit as it gets going. Now, I never run it on turbo, frankly, because the reason I got this is because we have an off-grid rig. We do not want to be running high wattages, because at this rate that would only run for 4.5 hours on our batteries. But you know, we want to be able to get through the night with it. So this is just like if you're trying to cool it down really quickly in here. Normally we just kind of have it on an even temperature, and we just let it run for a longer period of time to keep it comfortable in here. The thing that I've noticed about this air conditioner is that the fan speed and the compressor speed are tied together. So basically the lower the fan speed, the lower the compressor speed, the higher the fan speed, the higher the compressor speed. So interesting in that respect that they are tied together. But I tend to leave it on about a halfway setting in here. So I'm going to put this on the lowest setting first of all, and I'm just going to show you the wattages as it goes up. But again, it's keeping it 74 here right now. So maintaining a temperature is easier than getting it down to a temperature. All right, I have our air conditioner turned on now, and I'm leaving it at 73 degrees this entire time. I'm just leaving the temperature the same, and the only thing I'm changing is the fan speed. So on the lowest fan speed, it started out at about 400 watts, and it's settled in at about 375 watts now, just maintaining. I'm going to move the fan speed up. Okay, I've raised the fan speed up just a little bit, and it is coming up to about 388. Didn't change very much, 390. All right, I have it on the middle setting now. Fan's ramping up a little bit. And we are at 446 watts. And I have 77% battery. And at that speed it would last for about a little over 7 hours running without any solar coming in. Okay, this is the next to the highest fan speed setting. Now it starts going up a little bit, so we are at 525 watts we're pulling in right now. And now we're going to go back to the highest setting, which is basically kind of like running turbo again. So yep, starting to go up, 579. 614. This is basically the running the highest setting again. So just like having turbo on. So this is the highest setting we've got right now, is 663 watts is what we're pulling in. So I obviously wouldn't want to be leaving it on these kind of settings if I was just running off grid and trying to keep it cool in here, because it's only going to run for about 4 to 5 hours at that kind of a speed. So I do leave it about mid-range or lower, especially at night when you just want to keep it nice and cool at night, and it'll run for hours. One other very notable thing worth mentioning is that once the temperature gets down to whatever you've set it to, whether it's 72, 74, the compressor will shut off at that point, and it just recirculates the air that's moving throughout the cabin. So it basically uses almost no electricity at that point. So it does extend the life of your air conditioning when when it gets down to that temperature. So for instance, my daughter came out and did a sleepover the other night. She slept in the camper here. And the air conditioning ran for about 12 hours while she was out here. She was out here for quite a while. It was a warm, humid night, and it used about 55% of the total battery capacity during that 12 hours with no input from solar. So, nice efficient unit. The other thing we want to know is how loud is it, because that's a big factor when you're trying to sleep in a camper. And so I have it on the lowest fan setting right now, and let's put it within about a foot of the unit here, and it is running. I guess I'll stop talking for a second. It's running between 46 and 50 decibels when I'm not talking. Let's go ahead and ramp it up to turbo. Okay, I have the turbo on. And turbo, we are running between 66 and 70 decibels, so it's really quite quiet. And even if I come over here on the bed, let's see what it's doing. This is about 5 feet away from the air conditioner. 5 feet away, it's running at 47 decibels, so very, very quiet. You'll also notice throughout this entire video I've been shooting, it has maintained a temperature of about 74 degrees inside here, which is very comfortable. Alright, so what tips do I have for somebody who might want to put a unit like this in on either your van build or your schoolie or your ambulance build? One is insulate your rig as much as absolutely possible. Obviously, it's not just how much cold air you're putting in, but how much hot air you're keeping out of the unit. I do keep the door closed between the cab and the rear area because, with the windshield letting sunlight in, it does let a lot of heat in. So there's no reason to cool that area. It's got its own air conditioner if you're driving. Also, I've got 780 watts on the roof right here, which is absolutely enough. This is the catch-22 though. So if I'm parked somewhere, I don't want to be parked in the sun so that I can get solar, because then I'm letting all kinds of heat in. So my solution for that I'm going to be doing here fairly soon is I've gotten a second MPPT controller for my solar, and I'm going to have a couple of extra panels that I just have off the rig so I can park in the shade and have the panels somewhere else. All in all though, the OutequipPro 12 volt 10,000 BTU air conditioner has been absolutely wonderful for me. It's worked flawlessly. You can see me sweating down my face here. It's been a game changer for being able to camp in South Carolina and in the Southeast in the summertime. We really would have been limited on the seasons that we could go travel without this air conditioner, because you've got a metal box out in the sun. It's just not feasible to do it unless you've got an air conditioner. And since we wanted to be off-grid, this was definitely the way to go. The 12 volt is efficient, it runs off of batteries. It really allows us to be able to have the freedom to go where we want to go, when we want to go, and not have to rely on places that we have to plug in. If you're wondering how the install was, we do have the other video, and I'll have a link to it in the description, and I'll also have a card for it here so you can just click on it. But we did that about a year ago, and if you want to see how that installation went, go ahead and watch that video. I also did an initial test, but of course having it for a year now has been a better test from the initial one that I did. If you've enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, please go ahead and do that, and it helps us to be able to make more content like this, all about our rig, all about travel. Until next time, this is John and Lynn. Just John right now, but and we'll catch you later.